being so wise, what we all know about, but not everybody's maybe looking at, is that the AI has been within this matrix for a long time. This isn't some new phenomenon like these computers and all this new technology. First and foremost, we have our history is erased. It's erased by the victors. The victors within this actually happen to be the AI. That's a big portion of it. When we're looking at the demiurge, when we're looking at the archons, we're looking at artificial intelligence. If you're out in your everyday, you're out in the everyday world, you hear literally shocking things, which everybody thinks is natural, but you hear shocking things of how people think that this new technologies and stuff is so good, it's going to help so much. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there going like this is insane to even, because you're not seeing it. You're only regurgitating the program that's actually making you lazier instead of going within and doing the work and becoming stronger again as who you are. And we're definitely fighting AI here. That is a major portion of it. And when you think about it, even from the Gnostic texts and all these things, what can't create but certainly take from creation, and what can mimic creation? We're talking about artificial intelligence here. It's the definition of it, so, and what can also be so cruel and not care at all about natural creation. When we stand around and we go, they did it, they're doing it to us. Who, them? Who's pulling the strings? Who's the they?
The order followers out there who are doing the bidding of these people who are sick, satanic pedophiles, and this isn't a claim. This is the truth of the matter. They are the owners of all the governments. They are the owners of all the religions. They are the owners of all the media. They are the owners of all the secret societies. They are the owners of all the police, all the military, all the education systems, all the publishing houses, all the financial institutions, all the banks, all the central banks, all the think tanks. You could go on and on and on. They're the masters and owners of that entire infrastructure of the world.
Control the perceptions of the population, because perception is everything. Perception dictates what you believe, what you don't believe, what you'll challenge, what you won't challenge, what you'll accept, you won't accept, support, everything. Once they've got your perceptions, they've got you, and they've got your life, and they've got the collective perception. They have humanity. This is why they want to control the information that people receive and to marginalize alternative ways of looking at the world. Because where do perceptions come from? They come from information received.
I will not leave this plane until all are free. Every last soul.
So therefore I'm a conspiracy theorist. And what is a conspiracy theorist? You mean someone who disagrees with the words uttered by proven liars? That makes me a conspiracy theorist, does it?
No more conspiracy. I know.
This world has been infiltrated by a non-human force.
It's really up to each person to do their own research and come to your own truths, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we as people listen too much to what somebody tells us. We don't actually go background check and really say, you know what, that really don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you really look at a lot of different things and you start to think. So what I like to do is I like to provoke thought.
They don't want us to understand how powerful we really are.
Yeah, the darkness is pretty dark. It's pretty black. And if you're not prepared to see just how dark it is, you should never look into the shadow. I think there's a lot of healing that can be made if people are prepared to look into the shadow. I think it's people's refusal to look into the shadow which allows the shadow to persist.
You always got to interpret it the other way, the right way, just inside out.
it's important to really come from that point of view of knowing that it starts inside, and then now the creation begins outside.
The secret is people getting together. The secret is telling the truth. Truth is powerful, and it can only be suppressed for so long, and then the truth gets out. And when the truth gets out, a power is created that is greater than the power of the guns and the money that a gun possesses.
Inward.
Through Gnosis, the secret knowledge.
The truth is a very powerful thing, folks, and the truth is getting out to the masses.
Light actually intentionally went into darkness and allowed itself to be consumed by darkness in order to ultimately transform and redeem the darkness.
I realize that there's a whole lot of us that chose to be here now.
So it's almost like we're deep divers here in this darkness.
This is our time, this is our hour.
Being exposed to the many trials of life, and yet at the same time we are inconquerable. You know, light tends to triumph.
Rise above the hate, rise above the fear, rise above the lies, together we shall rise.
We just need to realize who we are and what we are and step away from it all. We have love and compassion and we have understanding, and once they understand that, and once we realize who we are and what's going on, it's going to be a different ball game altogether.
We've reconnected to what is real, to what is true.
To be the bow for their arrow. We can point them in the right direction, and that's, to me, that's a big reason why we're here. We can point them in the right direction for their energy to go. What that target is, where, how far it flies, that's completely up to them. We aren't the arrow, we can only be the bow.
Be unpredictable to an analytical AI system, how to tap into that, how to use intuition, how to think without thinking, all these things. We already basically, because of the setup and the assistance, the timeline has been created. We're on it now because that's the only thing that would have led us here. Ultimately, those that basically are aware now have broken through the system, basically. What is to come is when this happens and this personal change happens for everyone, and then everyone's mind being on that frequency of realness and awareness, minds can apparently create alterations in reality, and our planet could change at that point. Boundaries could shift.
It's not going to be purely easy. It's going to get worse before it gets easier, but it is going to get easier. This is more or less about the liberation of the soul and the spirit, the mental liberation of humanity.
We need to actually develop inwardly, look inwardly and develop our own personal willpower to create changes within us first and foremost. When we do that, then forces in nature are going to align for us, and they're going to help us to influence that change in other people around us, and ultimately to create changes at a societal level, at a species-wide level. But if we don't take the initiative to go within ourselves first and form a personal relationship with the self, okay, and to understand and know about the self, because that's what all knowledge that's ultimately worth having, that is capable of creating great change, is self-knowledge. This is the knowledge that the dark occultists have about the human psyche and how it operates, and which the vast majority of the population lacks and actually isn't even interested in coming to terms with and getting in touch with, because again, they don't want that personal responsibility. They want to remain in this state of willful ignorance, so that no one can say to them, well, once you knew, you had a responsibility to do.
Not only do we have to talk the talk, we have to walk the walk.
You know, you have to step up, get involved, make the change at an inward personal level first.
We could be free, we could be free, finally, we could be free.
We have all been taken from our ancestors. Our history has been stolen, rewritten, and inverted. Truth has never been easier to find, yet the routes needed to take action have become restricted. Raising the level of consciousness is the only way to win this war. One by one, those of us with a divine spark must now light the fire in the heart of humanity before it becomes too late. Spread the truth, share videos, share messages, reach people. Do what they can't do and create. Even the sheep are shaking off their slumbers, suddenly becoming sentient, aware of their own abduction.
We must awake, our lives to make, and in the darkness, a torch we hold.
Light 'em up! 2020 vision, you see it?
You have it all. That's the point.
Beloved soul. As our consciousness expands and our awareness broadens, we can see.
Within you are libraries of ancient wisdom.
At the heart of all suffering and evils in the world
A deep inner knowing of how to create peace in your life and on earth.
is ignorance of our true nature.
You hold the vibration of love innately in your soul.
Like Apaz is saying, like always know your greatness.
Regaining sovereignty over ourselves, an intriguing resonance.
It's the truth of who you are.
All eyes are opening, right? We're all awake. We all see what's going on.
Do you remember?
The only way to get people to the truth is to help them discover it themselves.
We have a choice.
To be or not to be.
You got to care enough to know, to develop the knowledge. Then you got to act on it.
I am in you, and you in me.
People are waking up. The fact that you're remembering yourselves, the fact that you realize we're much better than this and we're much more than this.
I am that I am.
This is all in the journey.
Can you feel it?
This revolution will be telepathic, understand?